Hey guys, I'm T and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, we make trendy and fun crochet tutorials twice a week. And if you haven't already, smash that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe to join in on the fun. Here's a cozy classic, a balloon sleeve cardigan. Cardigans have always been a staple in my wardrobe, so it's fun getting back to them and coming up with new ways to make them modern. In this case, we went with a balloon sleeve because I love it puffy, and there's a new stitch that adds a great texture. Speaking of, if you're looking for texture, you've come to the right place. We've got tons of texture designs on the channel and more on the way, so consider subscribing and click the bell. And if you love what you see, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. It goes a long way to helping the channel grow so I can keep making tutorials. Now it's time to get on with the show, so without further ado. For this project, any category 4 yarn will work, but I used a total of 930 grams of yarn. That's 1,000 yards if you're stateside, and the individual measurements will be on the screen. As for tools, a 6mm hook, scissors, stitch markers, and a tape measure. There is a written pattern down below. Use offer code TCDDIY for a discount off any $9.99 plus order. Enter this week's pattern giveaway by telling us how you take your chocolate, milk, dark, or white. For me, I can't resist dark chocolate. Details for the giveaway down below. We're using 4 stitches for this project, and they'll be as follows. Chain, slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. This tutorial is for a size small, but you can adjust it for your size, and we explain how to in the video, so let's get started. Getting this top started, we're first going to grab our category 4 yarn and make a slip knot. Next, we're going to grab our 6mm hook. We're all going to start by making an odd number chain that reaches from the top of our shoulder down to where we want the bottom of this cardigan to be, keeping in mind that we will have a bottom band as well. I want mine to be just about 14 inches or 37 centimeters, so I'm going to start by making a chain of 45. Now that we have our chain, we're going to block off that last chain and do a chain 1. That extra chain is going to count as our turning chain, not as a stitch, and now we can get started with our Trinity stitch. But right before we get started, I do want to mention, make sure that we're keeping a medium to loose grip when we're working on our stitches, otherwise it can make the rest of the piece very stiff and very difficult to work into. So what we're going to do from here is single crochet into that chain that we blocked off with a second chain from our hook. So I'm going to insert my hook into that chain, starting with just 1 single crochet. There's my first single crochet, and now we can get started on the fancy part of the Trinity stitch. So what we're first going to do is pull up a loop, and we're going to insert our hook into that stitch that our single crochet is into as well. So into that same chain, I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Remember, don't tug on your yarn because we want this to be loose. And then we're going to do the same thing into the next 2 chains. So into that next chain, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through that loop. We should have 3 loops on our hook. And then we're going to be doing that one more time into that next chain. So into that next chain, we're going to yarn over and pull through. Make sure you're not tugging on your working yarn. We should have 1, 2, 3, and 4 loops on our hook. From here, we're going to yarn over, pull through all 4 of those loops, making sure we're not tugging too tight. And then we're going to chain 1 to finish our first Trinity stitch. And that's basically it for the rest of this row, so let's just do the next few together as well. Now getting started on our Trinity stitches, we are always going to be inserting our hook into the last stitch that our previous Trinity stitch was in. So, as you guys can see, this is the last chain that my previous Trinity stitch was into. So I'm going to start by inserting my hook into that same chain, yarn over, and pull through. We're going to do the same thing into that next chain. So insert, yarn over, pull through, and then into the next one as well. We always want to end with 4 loops on our hook. So insert, pull through. And we should all have 4 loops on our hook now. So all we're going to do is yarn over, pull through all 4 of those loops, and then chain 1 to finish off that trinity stitch. So we should all together have 1 and 2. Let's just do the next few together. Inserting your hook into that same stitch that last trinity stitch is being worked into. So insert your hook into there, pull through into that next chain as well, pull through, and then also into that next stitch, pull through. We should all have 4 loops on our hook, and once we have all 4 loops, we're going to yarn over, pull through all 4, and then chain 1 to close off our 3rd trinity stitch. Let's just do one more. So just like before, into that same last chain that our previous trinity stitches worked into, insert your hook, pull through. Into that next chain, also pull through 3 loops, and we want 4, so do one more. Into that next chain, pull through. Together, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4. So yarn over, pull through all 4, and then chain 1. And that is it. We are going to continue to keep doing our trinity stitches, making our way all the way down until we're about to get started on our last one. And that is going to be when we have 2 chains left. All right, we have just made our way all the way down with our trinity stitches until we have just 2 chains left. And we're going to do our last one, but it's going to end just a little bit differently. So we're going to start it off just the same way. I should probably do a chain 1 after my last trinity stitch. But once when we have that, I'm going to insert my hook into that last chain that my trinity stitch is worked into that second to last chain that we have for this whole row, and then also into that last chain that we have as well. Pull through. Now we should all have 4 loops on our hook. So yarn over, pull through all 4, and from here, instead of doing our chain 1, we are going to single crochet into that same last chain just to close off this row to make sure that we have a nice even edge. So without doing our chain 1, we are going to insert our hook into that last chain with a single crochet. And that is how we finish off all of our rows. And from here, it's going to be a repeat of this row for the rest of our front panel. So let's get this started just to make sure you guys have it down. Starting up our trinity stitch row, or row number 2, we're going to chain 1 and flip our work. You're always going to want to start with 1 single crochet. So into that first stitch, insert your hook with a single crochet, making sure that we aren't pulling tight on our work. And we can get started on our first trinity stitch. So how that's going to work is by inserting our hook into that same stitch that the single crochet is into. So we're going to insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 2, and we want to have 4. So insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 3. Then into that next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Should have 1, 2, 3, and 4 loops on our hook now. So just yarn over, pull through all 4, and then do a chain 1 to finish off our first trinity stitch. Now let's just do one more. Into that same stitch that our previous trinity stitches worked into, insert your hook into there, pull up a loop. Into that next stitch, pull up a loop, and then into that next stitch as well, because we need 4 loops on our hook. Pull that up. We should all have 4 loops on our hook now, so just yarn over and pull through all 4. Chain 1 to finish off that stitch. We're going to continue to do this, making our way all the way down until we have just 2 stitches left again, because I want to close this off with you guys one more time. All right, we are almost finished with our row number 2, and we should have 1, 2 stitches left. Now that last stitch that we have may be a little tricky to see because it is slightly tucked underneath, but as you guys can see, we have 1 and 2. We're going to be working into those both. So let's get this one started. So inserting our hook into the last stitch that our previous trinity stitches worked into, pull through. Into that second to last stitch, pull through, and then into that last that's kind of tucked, but it's still there. You're going to insert, pull through, should have 4 loops in our hook, so yarn over and pull through all 4. Now, since this is the last stitch, instead of doing our chain 1, we're going to single crochet into that same last stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook, with just one single crochet. Now you have just finished 2 rows. And now that we have that, I just want to start and end the third row off with you guys, and then I'll let you guys do the rest on your own. So let's do this a little bit quicker. So chain 1 and flip our work. To start off every row, we're going to be single crocheting into that first stitch, just like that. And to do our trinity stitch, we're going to be inserting our hook into that same stitch that our single crochet is into, pull through, into that next stitch, pull through, and then into that next stitch, pull through. You should all have 4 loops on hook, so yarn over, pull through all 4, chain 1 to close off that trinity stitch, and continue to do our trinity stitches, making our way all the way down until we have just 2 stitches left. All right, so we are back and we just want to close off our third row with you guys, and we should have just 2 stitches left. So just like before, start by inserting your hook into that last stitch that our previous trinity stitch was worked into, pull through, insert your hook into that second to last loop, pull through, and then also into that last loop, pull through. 4 loops on our hook, so yarn over, pull through all 4, and then single crochet into the last stitch from our previous row. And then from here, it's just going to be a repeat. So we're going to continue to do this until this reaches from the tip of our shoulder, working in till we're just about an inch away from the base of our neck. I will meet you guys back once I have mine all finished up, just to let you guys know how many rows I end up having. All right, so I am back with my front panel. I have a total of 16 rows, and this is just about 7 inches or 8 centimeters. And this is just as wide as I need mine to be. Once we have one of these all finished up, we're going to make another one, and then I will meet you guys back once we have both of these panels all finished up. All right, so we now have both of our front panels all finished up, and now I need to work on our back, which is going to be done pretty much the same way as our front panels. It's just going to be extended from shoulder tip to shoulder tip. So all we're going to do is make the same chain that we made when we started off our front panel, and then we're going to continue to do our trinity stitch with no increases and no decreases until we get the width that we need. Once we have that, I will meet you guys back so that we can single crochet along the tops of our pieces. All right, I am back and I have just finished my back panel, and I have a total of 44 rows, and my width is just about 16.5 inches or 42 centimeters. And now what we're going to do is single crochet along the top just to clean it up. So since our hook is already into our work, all we're going to do is do a chain 1 from here, and then we're going to alternate between 1 to 2 single crochets into every side row. So let's get that started. This is my first side row that I have right here. All I'm going to do is find that side loop and single crochet. There's my first, and next we're going to need to put 2 single crochets into the next side row. And we're going to need to find that side loop. So this is mine right here. We may need to pull it apart a little bit, but all I'm going to do is single crochet into there twice. So there's 1, and then into that same side loop, there's 2. Now let's do the set one more time. This is my next side row right here. We're working into our third row. I'm going to find that side loop and then insert with just 1 single crochet. And this is my next side row right here. I'm going to find that top loop and then insert with 2 single crochets. So there's 1 and then there's 2. And we're just going to keep alternating between 1 to 2 single crochets into every side row, making our way all the way down. When we don't have any more stitches left, do a chain up of 1 and cut, and then I'll meet you guys back just to show you guys where we're going to insert our hook to do the same thing to the front panels. So our single crochet row along the back panel is all finished up. I did do a chain up of 1 and cut, and now we're going to do the same thing for our front panels. So I'm just going to show you guys where we're going to be inserting our hook. We're all going to start by inserting our hook into the top corner stitch, and then we're going to work along the side rows of our front panel. So from here, just do a chain 1, and then just like before, alternate between 1 to 2 single crochets into every side row. When we don't have any more side rows left to work into, do a chain up of 1 and cut, and then do the same thing that we did here on the other side. So our single crochet row along the tops of our front panel are now finished, and now we can seam our shoulders. So the first thing we're going to do is place our front panel on top of our back panel, and we're going to be inserting a hook into the corner stitch of the front panel, and then also into the corner stitch of the back panel. We're going to insert our yarn onto our hook, pull through, and do a chain up of 1 to secure. And now we're going to single crochet across, making sure we're working in through both the front and back panel at the same time. So start by inserting your hook into that next stitch that we have into the front panel, and then also into that next stitch that we have into the back panel. Once we have both of those, we're going to single crochet. And that's how we seam it. Let's do another one. Into that next stitch into the front panel, go ahead and insert your hook. And then also into the next stitch into the back panel, insert your hook into there. And single crochet. And from here, we're going to continue to do this until we don't have any more stitches left. And we're going to do a chain up of 1 and cut. Once we have one side all seamed up, go ahead and do the same thing that we just did here to the other side, and then I'll meet you guys back. We have just finished up seaming both of our shoulders, and now we are going to seam our sides. The first thing we're going to have to do is make sure that our work is flipped wrong side out, so that once we flip our work right side out, all of our seams are along the inside. And then we're going to need to insert our stitch marker into the stitch where we want our sleeve to start. So from the bottom, I've inserted my stitch marker into the 20th stitch, and this is just about 6 inches or 15 centimeters. And from here, it's going to be the same single crochet seam. So start by inserting your hook into the front panel's bottom corner stitch, and then also into the back panel's bottom corner stitch. Insert your yarn onto your hook. We're going to pull through, do a chain up of 1 to secure. And since we already know how to do the seam, we're just going to do the first one together. So we're all going to start by inserting our hook into that first available stitch into the front panel, and then also into that first available stitch into the back panel. Once when our hook is in through both of those, we are going to single crochet. And that is it. We're going to keep doing this, making our way all the way up to our stitch marker, do a chain up of 1 and cut, and then do the same thing that we just did here on the other side. All right, now that everything is all seamed together, now we're going to get started on our sleeve. So the first thing we're going to do is flip our work right side out, meaning all of our seams are along the inside. And then we're going to start by inserting our hook into that first stitch that we have that's right next to our side seam. We're going to insert our yarn onto our hook and pull through. And all we're going to do from here is make an odd number chain that reaches down to where we want the bottom of this sleeve to be. So I want my sleeve to be just about 16 inches or 41 centimeters. So I'm going to start by making a chain of 55. And now that we have our chain, we are going to make our way back towards the base with our trinity stitches with nothing fancy added. So no increases and no decreases. So let's just get the first one started. We're going to block off that last chain, do a chain 1, and then into that chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from our hook, go ahead and insert with a single crochet. And then from there, let's get started with our first trinity stitch. So we're going to insert our hook into that same chain that our single crochet is into. So we're going to insert, pull through. Should have 2 loops on our hook. We're going to insert our hook into that next chain, pull up another loop. There's 3, and we're going to do this one more time because we need 4 loops. So into that next chain, pull through. And now that we have all 4, we're going to yarn over, pull through everything, chain 1 to secure. And for the sleeve, we do still want to make sure that we're using a loose grip. So I'll meet you guys back once we have this entire row finished, just to show you guys how we're going to connect it into the base. Now that we've just made our way all the way down with our trinity stitches, making sure that we end with our single crochet just like how we've been doing, we're going to slip stitch it into the base. So all we're going to do is insert your hook into that next available stitch, yarn over, and pull through everything. And now our first row is attached. And now just to work our way up to the next row, we're going to be slip stitching just up the next stitch, flip our work, and then continue on with our trinity stitch. So as you guys know, just start with a single crochet, and then into that same stitch, pull up 4 loops, and pull through all 4. And that is it. We're going to keep doing this until we reach the end of the row. Do a chain 1, flip our work, Work our way back with our trinity stitches and connect it into the base the same way that we just did. We're going to keep repeating that, making our way all the way around until we don't have any more stitches left. And I will meet you guys back so that we can seam everything together. I have just made my way all the way around with my sleeve. I don't have any more stitches left to work into, so now we're going to seam it together. The first thing we're going to want to do is make sure that our work is flipped wrong side out so that all of our seams are faced up towards us, so that once we flip it right side out, they're all going to be on the inside. Once we have flipped our work, this is going to be another single crochet seam. So we're going to start by inserting our hook into the corner stitch of the front and the back panel. We're going to pull through and do a chain up of 1 to secure. And from here, let's do our first single crochet. Start by inserting your hook into that first stitch, into the front panel, and then also into that first stitch, into the back panel, and then we're just going to single crochet them together. Let's just do one more. Into that next stitch into the front panel, insert your hook. Next stitch into the back panel, insert your hook, and single crochet. And we're going to keep doing this, making our way all the way down. We don't have any more stitches left. Do a chain up of 1 and cut. All right, so now that our sleeve is all seamed up, we can now get started on our cuff. We're going to want to cinch it up. So what we're going to do is do a single crochet row with a decrease of 2 into every side row. So let's get that started. We're going to insert our hook into any one of our side rows. It doesn't matter which one. We're going to pull through and do a chain up of 1. Now we're going to find our first side row, which is this one right here. I'm going to insert my hook into that top loop, yarn over, pull through. And then right after we pull through, we're going to have to find our next side row, which is this one right here. So we're going to have to find that top loop, insert your hook, and now we're going to do a decrease. So we're going to yarn over, pull through that first loop. We should have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3 of those loops. And that's how we do a decrease of 2 single crochets. And we're going to be doing that into every side row. So start by finding our next side row, which is this one right here. Insert your hook, pull through. Find the next side row that we have, which is this one. Find that top loop, insert, pull through 3. Let's do this one more time, just a little bit quicker. We're going to find the next side row that we have. So insert, pull through, and then also into that next row, pull through. We're going to yarn over, pull through all 3. And now we should have just a couple decrease of 2 single crochets. We're going to continue to do this, making our way all the way around. I'm going to slip stitch into that chain 1 space that we made and cut because I will be switching out my colors. All right, so we have just finished up our first single crochet row when it comes to our sleeve. I did do a chain up of 1 and cut because I am switching out my colors. And right before we get started with the length of our cuff, I'm going to do a single crochet row with my secondary color. So go ahead and insert that onto your hook, pull through, do a chain up of 1, and just make your way all the way around, putting 1 single crochet into every stitch. Slip stitch into that chain space that we just made, and then I will meet you guys back. All right, so our first single crochet row with our secondary color is all finished. And the next row we're going to have to do is a half double crochet row. So right after our slip stitch, all we're going to do is start with a chain 2. That doesn't count as a stitch, that's just our turning chain. And we want the height. And from there, we're going to put 1 half double crochet into every stitch. Now to do a half double crochet, we're going to yarn over. We're going to insert our hook into that first stitch that we have. We're going to yarn over and pull through that loop. We should now have 3 loops on our hook. So just yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. There's our first half double crochet. Let's do that again. Yarn over into that next stitch, pull through that loop. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Continue to put 1 half double crochet, making your way all the way around. All right, we have made our way all the way around with our half double crochets, and now we need to close off this row. So how we're going to do that is slip stitch into the second chain that we made when we started off this row. So we're going to count up 1, 2 chains. Into that second chain, go ahead and insert your hook, yarn over, pull through everything to close off this row. And now from here, we're going to be doing front and back post double crochets to get some nice ribbing. We're all going to start by doing a chain 2. We're going to start by doing a front post double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, and then into that first half double crochet that we have, we're going to be working underneath the body of that half double crochet, not into the top loops. So we're going to bring our hook forward, and then we're going to bring it underneath that first half double crochet and through the other side, so underneath the body. And there we're going to yarn over, pull through just that loop. We should have 3 loops on our hook now, and we're going to double crochet per usual, so that is a yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. We just finished our first front post double crochet. Now let's do our next back post double crochet. That's going to start with a yarn over as well, and looking into that next half double crochet that we have, we're going to bring our hook over and through the other side, that body. So bring our hook underneath our work, and then bring it up into that gap, over that next half double crochet, and then double crochet per usual. So yarn over, pull through that loop. We should have 3 loops on our hook now. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. Now all together we should have 1 front post and 1 back post double crochet. Let's do another set. Now starting with our front post double crochet again, we're going to yarn over. To do the front post, we're going to bring our hook forward, and then underneath that next half double crochet and bring it through the other side, and then double crochet per usual. So yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Our front post double crochet is all finished up. Now let's do our back post again. Start with a yarn over, find that next half double crochet, and then bring our hook underneath our work. Bring it over that next half double crochet, through the other side, yarn over, and pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now all together we should have 1 front post double crochet, 1 back post double crochet, another front post, and then another back post. Let's just do 1 more set like this together, and I'll let you guys do the rest on your own. So to do this a little bit faster, we're going to yarn over, bring our hook underneath that next half double crochet. We're going to pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then to do our back post, we're going to yarn over, bring our hook underneath our work and over that next half double, pull through 2, and pull through 2. And that's it. We're going to continue to do 1 front post double crochet and 1 back post double crochet, making our way all the way around, and when we don't have any more stitches left, I will meet you guys back. All right, now that we have made our way all the way around with our front and back post double crochets, we do need to close off this row, and it's going to be done the same way that we closed off the previous row. So we're going to start by counting the first 2 chains. There's 1, there's 2. Insert your hook into that second chain with a slip stitch, and now this row is all closed off. And from here, we're going to continue with the front and back post double crochets to extend the ribbing until we get the length of the cuff that we want. So we're just going to do the first 2 stitches with each other, and then it's going to be a repeat. To start off our row, we're always going to do a chain 2 because we need that height. And from here, since we all started with a front post double crochet, we are going to continue to do a front post double crochet. We're going to yarn over, and then into our previous row, we're going to find that first front post double crochet, bring our hook underneath it, pull through 2, pull through 2. So we're just extending our previous row, and then we're going to do the same thing with the next stitch. And since it's a back post, we're going to do a back post double crochet into there. So yarn over, bring your hook underneath and over that double crochet, pull through 2, and pull through 2. And we are going to continue to do this until we get the length that we want our cuff to be, and then I will meet you guys back. All right, so I've just finished up going in with my cuff. Including my first single crochet row with my primary color, I have a total of 7 rows, and this is just about 2.5 inches or 7 centimeters. And once we have that, I did do a chain up of 1 and cut, and then we're going to do the same thing that we did here for the sleeve and the cuff on the other side. And then once we have both of these all finished up, we're going to start working on the bottom band. So to get started on our bottom band, we are first going to flip our work upside down so that the bottom is faced away from us and our work is flipped right side out. We're then going to take our primary color, and just like how we did for the cuff, single crochet all the way around, but we aren't going to be doing any decreases. So to start by inserting your hook into the corner stitch of one of the corners, we're going to insert our yarn onto our hook, pull through, do a chain up of 1 to secure, and we're just going to be putting 1 single crochet into every side row. So to get that started, we're going to insert our hook into that first side row and just insert with 1 single crochet. Let's do that into the next side row. This is my next right here. Insert with 1 single crochet, and then into my next side row right here, 1 single crochet. And we're going to want to use a medium to loose grip with this as well, because if we do it a little bit too tight, it's going to cinch up the bottom a lot more than it should. So continue to do this, making our way all the way around until we reach this corner over here. All right, so our single crochet row is all finished up, and I did do a chain up of 1 and cut. And just like for our cuff again, we're going to be doing a single crochet row with our secondary color. So just insert your hook into one of the corner stitches, pull your secondary color through, chain 1, and then just make your way all the way around, putting 1 single crochet into every stitch. All right, our single crochet row is all finished up, and we need to do a half double crochet row. So just do a chain 2 from here, flip our work, and then make your way all the way across, putting 1 half double crochet into every stitch. Our half double crochet row is all finished up, and we are going to continue to do our front and back post double crochets. So I'm just going to do the first set with you guys and let you guys finish off the row on your own. Now that we're at this corner, we are going to do a chain 2 and flip our work. Now to do our first front post double crochet, we're going to yarn over, and then we're going to bring our hook into that second half double crochet that we have from our previous row. We're not going to count this one because our chain 2 counts as this stitch. So we're going to bring our hook underneath that second half double crochet, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then to do our back post, yarn over. Bring your hook underneath your work and then over that next half double crochet, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Just like how we did the cuff. So continue to do front and back post double crochets until we have just 1 stitch left, because we are going to have to close off with a half double crochet just to make this an even line. Right, so we have made our way all the way down with our front and back post double crochets. Into that last stitch, we are going to do a half double crochet just to keep this line nice and clean. So we're going to yarn over, find that last stitch from our previous row, and half double crochet. And now this row is all closed off. And we're going to continue to do our front and back post double crochets until we get the length of our bottom border. So just to get started with the next row, we're going to chain 2, flip our work, and we're going to want to extend the ribbing from our previous row. So we're going to do whatever it looks like. Since my first stitch looks like a back post double crochet, I'm going to be doing a back post double crochet into there. So yarn over. I'm going to bring my hook underneath my work, over that first double crochet, and then closing off my first back post double crochet. And then just do the next one. Since my next stitch looks like a front post double crochet, I'm going to do a front post double crochet into there. And we're going to maintain this, making sure that we're just extending the ribbing from our previous row until we get the length that we want. I'll meet you guys back once we have this bottom band all finished up. All right, so I'm back and I have just finished up my bottom band. I have a total of 7 rows, and this is another 2.5 inches or 7 centimeters. And now we're going to start working on our front band. The first thing we're going to want to do is single crochet only along the front panel along the back, and then down to reach the last stitch for our front panel. So we aren't going to be working into the bottom border. So we're going to grab our primary color, insert our yarn onto our hook, pull through, do a chain up of 1 to secure, and then just put 1 single crochet into every stitch. And we're only doing this to make it nice and clean for our next single crochet row. So go ahead and make your way all the way down to this last stitch that we have into the front panel. Do a chain up of 1 and cut, and then I'll meet you guys back. All right, so our single crochet with our primary color is all finished up. And now we're going to do a single crochet row with our secondary color. Now we're going to be starting at the bottom corner. So I'm going to insert my yarn onto my hook, pull through, do a chain up of 1 to secure. Now, starting with the bottom band, we have a bunch of side rows to work into, and all we're going to do with those is put 2 single crochets into each of those. So we're going to find our first side row, which this is mine right here. I'm going to insert my hook into there with 1, and then into that same side row with 2. Let's do the next one. This is my next side row right here. So I'm going to find that loop and single crochet twice into there. Just to do the next one, this is my next, and single crochet twice. So there's 1, into that same side loop, there is 2. And we're going to keep doing this until we reach our first single crochet row that we have with our secondary color. And I am at my first single crochet row with my secondary color. All I'm going to do is put 1 single crochet into there. And then from here we should have another single crochet row with our primary color, 1 single crochet into there. And then from here we're going to start working into that single crochet row that we made along the inside of our front panel. So I'm going to find that first stitch, I'm going to insert my hook with 1 single crochet. And then from there, we're going to continue to put 1 single crochet into every stitch that we have, making our way all the way down to the other bottom band corner, making sure that once we reach that bottom band, we are going to continue to put 2 single crochet into every side row. I'll meet you guys back at the bottom of this corner. All right, so our single crochet row with our secondary color is all finished up. And this is going to be done pretty much the same way that we have done the bottom band, so I'm just going to walk you guys through it. Right after the single crochet row, we're going to do a half double crochet row with no increases and no decreases. So from where we're at, I'm going to untwist my yarn and do a chain 2 and flip our work. We're going to make our way all the way down to the other corner that we have, putting 1 half double crochet into every stitch. All right, our half double crochet row is all finished, and now we're just going to do more rows of front and back post double crochets. So just to do the first few with each other, again, we're going to chain 2 and flip our work. Just like how I did for the bottom band, we're going to be skipping that last half double crochet from our previous row. And then into the next, we're going to start with a front post double crochet. So yarn over, bring your hook underneath that next half double crochet. We're going to pull through 2, pull through 2, and then our next is going to be a back post double crochet. So yarn over, bring our hook underneath, and then over that next half double crochet, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Continue to put 1 front and back post double crochet into every stitch, and just like how we did for the bottom band, I'll meet you guys back when we have just 1 stitch left so we can close it off with a half double crochet. Alright, so I've just made my way all the way down with my front and back post double crochets, leaving the last stitch, and all we're going to do is half double crochet into the last stitch from our previous row. And from here, I am actually done with my front band, so I'm going to do a chain up of 1 and cut. If you guys want yours to be thicker, then continue on the same way that we did the bottom band. All you're going to do is do a chain 2, flip your work, and then you are going to extend the stitch from our previous row. So since my first stitch looks like a back post double crochet, I will be doing a back post. front post, and then so on and so forth until you guys get the width of the front band that you want. And then I will meet you guys back. All right, so I'm back. I have done a chain up of 1 and cut, and everything is all finished. The last thing we're gonna have to do is weave in all of our ends. And there you have it, y'all. We are all done. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram, Pinterest, or Twitter. All of those links are down below. And like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.